Hello and good morning. My name is Sharon Cole with the Grandview Group. I welcome you to our webinar today on oral communication with Sonya Ford. We'd like to welcome Sonya Ford. She is a contributor of the Complete Office Companion's Oral Communication chapter. Sonya is the Special Projects Manager at the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from Robert Morris University and also has a degree in Interior Design from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Sonya is an active member of IAAP's Pittsburgh chapter, earning her CAP certificate in 2007. During her membership, she's chaired many committees and served on the board for 2 terms. Today, Sonya will be sharing with us her expertise on how to be an effective oral communicator. I want to direct your attention to the Q&A box in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. That Q&A box is there for you to ask any questions. Sonya will be happy to address that for you. If she doesn't see it, we'll absolutely bring it to her attention. We thank you again for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Sonya. Welcome,
thank you,
Sonya.
Laura. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for registering for the Oral Communications webinar today. We have about 30 minutes, so this won't be too painful. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their day so far. So we're going to get right to it. And I'm going to start advancing the slides so that you can all see what I'm referring to. Okay, let's start with a brief introduction.
I do want, Sonya, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second and ask if anybody who is on the phone, if you will please mute your phone for background noise. You can push *6 on your phone, or you can use your phone mute feature. Sorry, I should have said that ahead of time. All right,
Thanks,
go
Laura.
ahead.
Okay, that does sound better. Okay, so as I was saying, this is the oral communications portion for the Complete Office Handbook. And thank you all for registering for the webinar today. It's going to be about 30 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I believe we all know that communication is really important in today's office environment. Administrative professionals today really need to be conscious of speaking clearly, giving out information to clients, etc., in a way that's understandable for them. We work in a very busy global environment today, so oral communications is vital for most of our business careers. Speaking clearly and actively listening and responding appropriately is, like I said, essential in today's environment at the office. When you join that with a positive attitude, these skills can lead to effective communication. And this is a typical sample of a communication model. You always have a sender, a message, and the receiver. You want to make sure you keep this in mind when you're communicating with outside clients or internally with your staff. What is effective communication or effective oral communication? The first is speaking clearly, like I mentioned before. Second is listening. That's very important. The third is responding appropriately. And the fourth is having a positive attitude. Speaking clearly helps your receiver to understand information effectively, and it enables them to respond back to you efficiently. It also saves time when you're on the phone with someone or if you're emailing someone. You don't want them to be confused about your messaging. You want to make sure that you're clear and concise with what you're saying to them. And people are busy, so you don't want to labor a lot with unnecessary communication. You want to get to the point, give them the facts, do it in a clear manner, and usually that helps you convey what you're trying to give your customer. And this is important in any industry that you're working in. Clear communication eliminates the need for additional questions, and it also saves you valuable time. And I'm sure most of our supervisors would appreciate that. Listening is a very important skill to have. A lot of people, they talk a lot, but they're not really listening to what's being said or asked of them. Sometimes things get lost in communication when you're doing all the talking and you're not allowing your caller or your visitor to express what they're looking for. If they're visiting your company for the first time and they'd like information about products or programs that you offer, they're going to want you to just stick to that subject and not get off the point. Sometimes there's a time constraint for them. They're trying to get in and get out. So you want to be sure that you're listening to what people are asking you for. And in that way, you can get a proper response from the person that you're talking to. Responding appropriately after receiving information eliminates tension, and it also allows both the sender and the receiver to feel valued. This is really important when you're dealing in an international environment. For example, myself working at Carnegie Mellon, we deal with a lot of international students, and a lot of them are interested in entrepreneurship and our workshops and programs, etc. It's important that I'm conscious of the fact that there could be sometimes a communication barrier because of an accent, or maybe there's just things they're not understanding because of my language that I'm giving to them. So you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself professionally to them, that you're being positive when you respond, that, again, you're listening to what they're asking you for. And if you don't understand their question, ask them to repeat it. You can be polite and say, you know, I'm having a hard time understanding you. Can you please repeat that? And then give them the information that they're looking for. You don't want to appear that you're annoyed or irritated by their questions. That can really put people off. And it also reflects badly on your organization. And again, having a positive attitude when you're communicating with someone really makes a big difference when you're delivering information. And always have a smile. We have to remember that. And, you know, people can feel your smile even over the phone. So it's really good to practice that. You know, you don't want to have an attitude, or, you know, if you're having a bad day, that's not your customer's problem. It's up to you to make that person feel comfortable when they're interacting with your organization. These are the 3 C's that I like to remember from myself and my job. Being consistent with your message to others, being clear when you're sending a message, and also being courteous, which also conveys respect. When people feel respected, typically you're going to get a more valuable conversation with them. So it's always good to remember these 3 things. Front desk techniques. A lot of us are front desk persons. We may be the first person that a visitor sees when they enter an office environment. So you want to make sure that you present a professional demeanor at all times. Most of us already know this, but it's always good to remind yourself that people are looking at you all of the time, even when you don't think they are. You're always the face of the office, so you need to remember to always create that positive impression, especially for your visitors and also your internal colleagues. And wouldn't we all like to be greeted by a person that looks like this, with a smile on her face? She looks like she's ready to greet you. She looks pleasant. She's dressed professionally. She looks like she's ready to answer your questions, make you feel comfortable. That's the kind of impression we like to give. And this is the opposite of that. We don't want to be chewing gum or eating at our desk, talking on a phone with a personal friend, or, you know, just ignoring the client, ignoring your customer or visitor, popping gum, sitting there on your cell phone. These are things that, you know, most of us know not to do. Also, which is important for office professionals, is the waiting area of your organization. Try to make sure you keep that clean if that's your responsibility. Make sure it's comfortable for your visitors. You don't want to have a lot of clutter on your desk. You don't want to have a lot of personal items that have nothing to do with your business that people really don't want to see. That's usually an area that most of us control, so make sure that that's a pleasant environment for your visitors. Also, greet each visitor with a smile as soon as they come into the office. Don't make them feel like you don't have time for them, you're too busy, I'm on a call. Make eye contact, acknowledge that they're there. Even if you are on the phone, on a business call, for example, just nod your head and let the person know that you see that they're there. And that usually will put people at ease and let them know that you've noticed them. It's also good to greet a person by name. If someone comes up to you and they say, "Hi, I'm John Smith. I'm here to see so-and-so." It's good to repeat their name back. "Hi, John. How are you? Nice to meet you. I'll be right with you." Or something like, "Mr. Brown is expecting your visit. Let me give him a call and I'll let him know that you're here." It's just a good practice to use someone's name. That makes them feel like they're valued. Now we're going to change gears just a little bit and talk about workplace violence. This is something that some office professionals may encounter. A lot of employees have encountered it, and a lot of times it's our jobs to counteract this sort of activity at our workplace. Employees, supervisors, and managers have at times become victims of physical and emotional assault in the workplace, unfortunately. And it's up to us to reduce the risk of such occurrences that can happen. So this is an example of, someone's pointing at you, they're being aggressive, they're in your face, this could be a staff person or a boss, and no one should have to put up with that. Most organizations have policies and procedures to deal with these sort of things. I like to refer to the Division of Occupational Safety and Health, or OSHA. This is for employees who need assistance in addressing workplace security hazards. Also, you can contact your HR department and ask them, what is the policy? What should I do in a case like this? If you're in the midst of a violent situation at work and you're uncomfortable with it, I always say just back away from the person and, say, I'm going to need to contact my supervisor, or just walk away and, let someone know that you're dealing with this issue. Don't try to deal with it yourself and diffuse it by yourself. Sometimes that can be hazardous for you. And then I'm going to go into introducing visitors to your company. Depending on your policy and procedures at your organization, visitors may either be escorted to the office door, or the manager will come out of his office and retrieve the visitor. Always remember that proper etiquette is really good when you're introducing someone who's visiting for the first time. Again, that goes back to first impressions and giving off a positive impression for your company. Telephone procedures. Proper phone etiquette, as we know, should always be used by everyone. What you say over the phone and how you say it can either help or hurt your company's image. Proper use of the phone establishes a professional and positive impression. Again, you don't want to have an attitude when you answer the phone. You don't want to be chewing gum and food and talking to other people while you're on the phone with a client. You want to always remember to treat that person with respect, because they're the ones who are contacting you. It's not the other way around. Here are some topics that are also covered in the handbook in this chapter, and I just bulleted them really fast, so just take a look at that really quick. One of the things I want to focus on real fast is dealing with people with accents. As I said before, you always want to make sure you're respectful to people from other parts of the world, because as we all know, we're global-minded these days. I mean, you're dealing with people from China, from Peru, from Italy, Canada, from all over the place. So it's really important to respect the fact that not everybody speaks as English as well as we do. So patience is really important, and again, giving that clear message and listening is really important when you're dealing with international clients, even internal staff. Handling angry callers is also another skill. You know, again, if you can remember to just remain professional and apologize to the person. I'm sorry you don't understand the information I'm giving you. Is there anything I can do to help you understand better? You know, apologizing to someone who's angry, maybe they're just not understanding you, or they called you with an attitude themselves. You don't have to try to match their attitude. Just remember that they're calling you for information. You know, if you need to put them on hold for a second to calm yourself down, that's fine. But just remember that you're in the business of being that administrative professional, and a lot of times you have to guide your caller or your visitor to the appropriate action. And another picture here of a positive administrative professional handling her business. She's on the phone, she looks pleasant, she's dressed professional. Conference calls. Most office professionals still have to set up conference calls. It's good to check with your supervisor to check out what types of conference call systems you're able to use. Some of them cost money, and then there's others that are free. You want to make sure this is in the budget before you set up something for your office. I usually use Doodlepoll or GoToMeeting to set up calls. And there's also another one called Join Me, and there's several others as well. But these are, the first two are the ones I use most often. Doodlepoll is good because it allows people to sign in and choose dates and times that are convenient for them to join your call. Once you have people, there's usually a link that you provide to them. They click on the link, they open up your meeting schedule, they choose what days and times work best for them, and then you get the responses. And that way you don't have to keep emailing people to find out what's a good day or time for them. It's really helpful. And it saves you time, and it's really efficient. So I like Doodlepoll. That's the #1 program that I use for scheduling conference calls. And then here's a logo for the GoToMeeting application as well. This chapter also deals with media relations. Some of us are responsible for handling media at our jobs. You might have someone from the Post-Gazette. Here in Pittsburgh, we have the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Pittsburgh Business Times, the Trib, different publications like that. And sometimes they come into the office and they're looking to talk to your boss or someone else who's done something great in your organization. Maybe they've started a new program. Maybe it's the company's anniversary. Maybe there's just a great story that came out that they want to publicize. So you're going to need to deal or learn how to deal with these types of issues. Some of the opportunities for publicity are anniversaries, corporate news, company events, recognitions, and seminars. So these are some of the things that the media might want to pay attention to at your organization. For example, at Carnegie Mellon, we have news all the time about startups, some of our students who start companies while they're in school. We have inventions going on. We have professors that are coming up with great new inventions that help cure things like cancer and all types of other issues that are coming out of Carnegie Mellon. So we always have media here on campus. And I don't personally deal with them directly, but if I do happen to get an email from someone that's looking for the PR department, or they're looking to do a story on my boss because of a student entrepreneur, for example, I would usually go to our PR department or marketing, let them know that this is happening, and they can usually direct you on the best way to handle that. And as I said, sometimes you're not dealing with these issues, but if it comes up, it's always good to have an idea of who you should talk to in your company to make sure it's handled in the right way. Another item that administrative professionals deal with more often today is social media. Social media has become very popular for companies to share information about what's going on inside the company, their events, programs, activities, and other sorts of news. Social media includes programs such as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, just to name a few. Twitter has become very popular for companies to connect with audiences in similar fields and to promote activities. Facebook is useful for promoting events and also connecting to people. And then there's LinkedIn, which is a really good tool for marketing your company to people outside of your organization. LinkedIn is also a good tool for finding out contact information for people that you want to connect with. I use LinkedIn all the time just because I'm looking for venture capital people that can help our students with funding for their companies. A lot of times they're not listed on the company's website, so I might go to LinkedIn and look up this person and connect with them so that they'll connect back with me, and then in turn I can get an email address and start communicating with them based on what we need. So LinkedIn is very useful. A lot of us are handling Twitter and Facebook too for the company. I manage our Twitter account for the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and it's become very big. We've had a lot of people following us that are interested in what we do as an entrepreneurship center on campus. A lot of universities have Twitter accounts. When you connect with them, then they connect you with others, and it's really become a really big, way to just stay connected and in the know of what's going on. Also in your city, you find out things on Twitter that you don't always hear on the news or from your colleagues. Sometimes you get information firsthand just by logging into Twitter, so it's really useful. These are some of the typical logos for Twitter, the little Tweety bird, and also the small t is the Twitter logo. There's the Facebook logo. LinkedIn has 2 logos as well. So just so that you're familiar with those. And I think that's pretty much it for my presentation. Again, it was really short. I just wanted to give you an overview of what's in the chapter for oral communications in the office handbook. And this is going to be an online handbook that's really going to be exciting for administrative professionals to use as a resource. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. If you want to type something into the question and answer box, we'd be glad to answer anything.
Sonya, this is Karen. I have a question that is here. Do I use my personal social media account, or do I create a separate one when I am, for instance, on Twitter or on LinkedIn? Specifically LinkedIn, because I think Twitter is more clear. But what about LinkedIn? Do I use my personal account, or do I create a separate one?
For LinkedIn, it's probably good to create a separate account from your personal account, but it's okay to use your personal account because you're connecting with other people who are in the industry. I've noticed people that I'm looking for on LinkedIn, sometimes their company has a LinkedIn account and then they have their own personal account. I typically connect to their personal account because I'm trying to get in touch with them and not their company. So I've seen both ways, but I think it's okay to use your personal account in the LinkedIn situation. For Twitter.
Okay, we have a question from Barb. She says, I get invitations to connect on LinkedIn all the time. How do you know when you should and shouldn't connect?
Well, that's a really good question. I get the same thing. I get people connecting to me all the time, and I have no idea who these people are. Most of them are students from Carnegie Mellon that I'm getting invitations from. I ignore a lot of them unless they're people who are in the investing community, like venture capital folks or people that I know can be a resource for the students who are starting the companies at the school. So I typically don't connect to just anyone. I really look at the connection and see, okay, who is this person and why would I connect? Because you're going to get hundreds, so it really is hard to pick and choose. But I think if you just kind of give the LinkedIn request a look and just see who it is real quick, a lot of times it's just random people who want to connect with you. So I usually don't put a lot of time into it. I just go, okay, I don't know this person, so I'm not going to connect. And it's okay. You don't have to.
Thank you. I do want to let all that are attending know that the Complete Office Companion is coming April 22nd in honor of Administration Professionals Day. You can click on this slide, and that will take you to the website where you can purchase. We did have a question of what is the cost of the subscription. The subscription is $199, but IAAP members get 50% off.
Fantastic.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful.
So we'd like to thank you so much today for attending our webinar, and we wish you all a great rest of your day and a great almost weekend.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.